guys, it's Abby. If you don't know me, I'm a senior at Centerville and I also run this account. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about auditions, particularly for Fiddler on the Roof. Although I'll also put in some advice about just auditions in general, because it is a little bit different when you're auditioning at CHS versus when you're auditioning at maybe a community theater or professional theater, etc. So the first thing you need is that there are some papers in front of the PAC office about Fiddler that you should go pick up right away. This white one, this packet here, is the audition contract. So on it, it has a lot of instructions that you should definitely read through about how auditions work, how the show works, what you need to do to be a part of it, as well as the back. It has this second page that you do have to fill out, and make sure you have your parents sign this part, and you'll turn that in when you audition. The second page is this pink sheet. This talks a little bit about the show, how we're doing it, and it also has some character descriptions on it, as well as some frequently asked questions. I definitely recommend you take a look at that as well. Also, if you are planning on auditioning for the show and you don't know a lot about it, please watch the movie. There is a movie. You can rent it at the library. You can probably find it on YouTube. I don't know if it's on Netflix, but that'll help you understand it a lot, especially so because you don't want to go in and say, hi, today I'm going to be singing modal song. Well, guess what? There isn't a modal because you say it mottle. So if you're watching the movie, then you'll also learn how to pronounce some of that. But maybe we might do a future live about how to pronounce the names of Fiddler, because that's pretty important. If you have a question about how to pronounce something, you can ask me or Maddie Grunberg. We both know a lot about the show. The third page you need is, if you're a girl, you need this. Probably. If you're a boy, there's one that says boys options. I don't have that one because I didn't think to grab it. So these are the audition cuts. If you do not have another song that you would like to use, you can use one of these. So this one for Zeidel from the song Matchmaker is a little bit lower, and it's a little more like character-y, comedic. And then this one is a song that Hoddle sings, and this is a more pretty, this is like a soprano-y ballad type. So you should choose which song you are going to sing based on what you think your voice does well or your acting type does well, rather than, well, the character of Hoddle sounds interesting because it's the biggest part of all the sisters and I want to be that one, so I'm going to sing that song. So that's what you want to think about when you're choosing it. The boys, it's kind of the same thing. There's a higher song and there's a lower song, and again, you should choose that based on your vocal type. If you don't know, you can listen to them both and try singing them and just see what you think sounds best. Let's see, we got a question. Should people do research on Jewish traditions? Absolutely. However, I don't think that you need to do that for the audition necessarily, as long as you make sure you know some stuff about the show. However, if and when you're cast, you should definitely do research on the show about Jewish tradition. So, with choosing the audition cut, if you don't want to sing one of the songs for the cuts you have because you feel like it doesn't fit your voice or you don't know it and you're not confident in it, that is totally fine. You can bring your own song. What I suggest with that is doing a song that you sing a lot and you feel like you're really good at and you're confident in, as well as something that maybe shows some acting. So for you, if that's a song from High School Musical, okay, go for it. Mr. Heyman and Mrs. Stam want to see you do your absolute best. And if that's a song from another Broadway show, that's also great. Generally, in a more professional audition setting, in a community or regional theater, professional theater, I would recommend doing a song that fits kind of the same type of the show, because most theaters are not going to offer you these little audition cuts, which is really nice at Mr. Heyman and Mrs. Stam, and they do this because they want to make this a very non-stressful thing for you, and that's very nice of them. So knowing that, try really hard not to be stressed, because that's kind of the biggest thing, is showing that you have confidence in yourself, and that you're having fun. That's kind of the biggest thing they're looking for, rather than looking for someone who's absolutely perfect in every way. So, like I said about other auditions, if I was auditioning for, say, I was talking to someone about Thoroughly Modern Millie the other day. If I was auditioning for Thoroughly Modern Millie, I would find a show that was written around the same time frame as that and songs that sound similar. So for Thoroughly Iman or Millie, I would probably suggest doing something from Anything Goes or Sweet Charity, because it has the same kind of feel to it. In a more general sense, if you are auditioning for a show that's considered classical musical theater, so written before the 1960s, like Golden Age, then you should probably choose a song from another show that's written before the 1960s. If you're auditioning for a contemporary show written after the 90s, then you should choose a song written from a contemporary show from the 90s. And then also choose a song that's going to show the acting ability you want to showcase. So if you are auditioning to be in the ensemble of a show, you want to go with the song that's probably like fun and smiley and just shows some good stage presence, versus if you're auditioning for like the leading lady ingenue, you might want to show a more serious tone, or like a song about being in love, etc. Other things to keep in mind when you are bringing your own audition piece is how it's going to be for the accompanist to play. So you have to make sure that you have sheet music. Sheet music looks generally like this with these bars here. It's usually longer and on white paper. So on your sheet music, you want to write a clear start and stop. I should have brought some of my sheet music to show you. You can DM me if you want to see what it looks like. Oh wait, actually my binder's right here. Okay, so I have sheet music right here, and if you can see, you don't have to like fully color it out. My voice teacher just does this because he's fancy, but you can clearly see where it says start right there with the bracket. So the accompanist knows when to start. And then the same thing says end, and it's bracketed, and the rest of it is kind of scribbled out. That's kind of what you want to do to your sheet music. You don't want to choose a song that's going to be super hard to play or super fast. So some like composers that are on the no-no list is Jason Robert Brown, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Those are kind of hard. I would also suggest staying away from material that's very overdone, like Wicked or Les Miserables. However, if that's like in your book and that's like, I'm really great at, if you're like, I'm really great at this song, I love this song, sure, do it for Centerville High School Theater. That's fine. Again, this is, for Centerville, it's meant to be a very low stress environment. So let's see, what else we have. So this form talks about some important points. So I think one of them I want to touch on is, how do you dress for an audition? So the only thing it specifically says in this audition packet is it says don't wear jeans. I don't know how Mr. Heyman truly feels about that because we never have a conversation about it before. I know that I don't wear jeans to an audition because it says that, and generally in an audition setting you're supposed to dress nicely, kind of like you would for a job interview. But I've seen a lot of people wear jeans to auditions, and it's not like you're not going to get cast if you wear jeans. It's not that serious. But if you're a girl and you want to wear a dress, that's awesome. You should definitely wear a dress. In terms of the dance call, you want to make sure you're wearing clothes you can move in. So if you are wearing a dress, put a pair of leggings on underneath or shorts on underneath. If you're a guy, and maybe you should just wear nicer pants and a button down instead of jeans, but make sure it's, again, clothes you can move in for the dance call. We will be having a dance call for Fiddler. It's not going to be like super difficult. It's just going to be Mrs. Redmond and I trying to gauge how much movement experience you have, and the most important thing is for you to show personality and acting through it. So if you forget steps, that's totally okay. We get it. It's a short time period. It's stressful. And the real show, you're going to have like 3 months to learn it, which is so much time. So just try to have fun and try to smile through it, or whatever like emotion it is that you're conveying. Fiddler's not a super dancey show, so it's not going to be crazy hard choreography. I think last year for Legally Blonde, if you auditioned for that dance call was a little bit harder than usual, but that's because it was a bigger dance show, and that's not the case with this one. So when you arrive to your audition, we should talk about how you sign up. So Mr. Heyman is going to put up these white sheets on his door that you can sign up on. It has different slots. They're usually a half-hour to hour slots. I can't quite remember. And you just put your name down and show up 10 minutes before the audition, and you do it. Those papers aren't up yet, although as soon as they're up, I will let you all know through the Instagram story, so be sure to keep checking the Instagram story. When you come to your audition, there's going to be a table of stage managers wherever they tell us to go first, and we will get that information out to you as soon as it's available. And you should check in with the stage managers, and you will give them this form that you have filled out and tell them your name, and they will sign you in, and they'll tell you what to do next. It's important to be very nice to your stage managers, because stage managers are super, super important, and I've seen and heard lots of stories of people that just kind of snub them, and that's not nice, because they're working really hard to make sure that this audition runs really smoothly, and if you're mean or disrespectful to them, they're probably going to tell the director, and that could affect your casting. So I think generally we dance first is the way we do it, so we'll probably dance in like the Central Theater. And then after we get done dancing, you'll go down to the PAC probably and audition on the PAC stage. And the way that works is one person goes in at a time. One of the stage managers escort you into the room. And you'll see Mrs. Stam and Mr. Heyman in there, and maybe probably an accompanist, usually the wonderful Laura Tyre. And you'll say hi, and they'll say hi, and what are you singing today for us? And you'll say, I am singing Far From the Home I Love, the audition cut. And if that's what you're singing, they have a pre-recorded track that they're going to say, okay, well, we'll let you listen to it first so that you can get the tempo for it. So you'll listen to it and kind of hear how fast it's going to be. And then they'll say, are you ready? And you say, yes. And then you sing it and you do the best, most confident job possible. If you have brought your own song selection and you're clearly marked sheet music, you're going to go to the accompanist and you're going to talk to them and say, I'm going to start on this page right here where it says start, and I'm going to end it right here. And so they're going to say, okay, and they're going to ask you for your tempo. So I recommend in doing that, if that's not something you're familiar with, just sing like the first 2 lines and they'll get it. If you are familiar with giving a tempo, usually you pat your chest to the beat that you're giving it to. You don't want to pat the piano. That's generally thought of as rude or unprofessional. And then usually you go up there and you say, hi, my name is Abby Fry, and today I'm going to be singing Where Am I Now from Lysistrata Jones, or whatever it is that you're singing. And they say, all right, great, and you start singing, and again, do a super great, confident job, and it goes wonderfully. Some common mistakes I would stay away from. Singing a song from the show. So for this show, we have specifically given audition cuts that you can sing from the show. However, I would not recommend singing another song from Fiddler on the Roof. Like, let's say you really like Far From the Home I Love, but you don't want to sing the part they assigned, so you want to sing a different part of it. I would not recommend doing that. It's kind of rude. And then in other shows, when they're not going to give you an audition cut, if you're auditioning for Big Fish and you come in and say that you're singing I Don't Need a Roof, don't do that. Not a good choice. I think it's just because if they want to hear you audition for a certain part, they'll call you back for. I don't know the specific reason. It's just like this rule in theater that you don't do that. Let's see, what else? Oh, be sure to be honest about your conflicts. So if you are running cross country and you know you have practice every Thursday from 5 to 6, put that down on the conflict sheet, because they're super willing to work with conflicts, which is amazing. However, if you get cast and you start the show and 2 weeks in, oh, by the way, I need to miss an hour of rehearsal every Thursday, they're not going to appreciate that. And that's rude to your fellow company members as well as your director and stage manager and everyone. When you walk into the room, keep your head up. Don't look at the floor. A lot of people will walk in looking at the floor like this. That makes you appear kind of scared. And even if you don't feel confident, you want to make it look like you are confident, because you want the confident vibe, and fake it till you make it, right? So look up, smile at the directors, say hi. I know it's really scary, but they're gonna remember you 10 times better if you're confident and you go in there and you're like, hi, Mr. Heyman, hi, Mrs. Stam, versus if you're like, hi, my name is Abby Fry, and today I'll be singing this song from this show. So have confidence. If you need any help on audition songs or materials for this show or for another show, feel free to DM this account or ask me personally. I've coached some auditions before, mostly with little people, but I know a lot about auditioning because I've been doing this for 10 years, and I wish that I had someone who had helped me way back when I started, because I did all sorts of weird things at auditions that I didn't know was things you're not supposed to do. My very first audition, true story, I sang a church hymn, and I sang it a cappella. So I would not suggest that now, but they still cast me, so they were graceful, thankfully. So there are resources out there to help you, is what I'm saying, and I would love to help you if you need help deciding what to do in your audition. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them at any time. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else that's important. Oh, well, I can give you a brief synopsis of Fiddler. So Fiddler on the Roof is a story about a family. The patriarch is Tevye, and he has 5 lovely daughters, and it's kind of at a turning point for their family. It's kind of at a turning point for their family. They're trying to make some decisions as to keep following some of the older traditions of their culture, or whether to branch out and maybe be a little bit more progressive. So the daughters are kind of wanting to do some newer things, and Tevye, their father, is not so sure how he feels about that, but he loves his daughters and he wants to do what's best for them. At the same time, you kind of have the changing world of the Russians coming into this Jewish town and kind of taking it over and kicking them out. So it's actually a very sad story, although there's hope in it, and it's definitely very heartwarming, as well as there are a lot of really fun moments of this show. So I think being aware of that tone when you're presented with that material is definitely a really good idea. Like I said, watch the movie, please. That will help you so much with your audition and even being in the show. So after you audition, the callback list will come out late. I think it's Wednesday night. If auditions are Tuesday and Wednesday, it'll be Wednesday night. At the end of the second day of auditions, and it'll be a list of who's called back for what part usually, although it has been known to at times just be a list of guys and a list of girls. If you don't call back, that does not mean you are not casted. And if you are called back, that doesn't mean you are definitely casted. It changes a lot. Generally, they don't call people back who they're just interested, who they know are going to be an ensemble member. So if you are maybe newer, don't have a lot of experience, but you kill your dance call and you were like acting and smiling, and maybe the ensemble is the best place for you, they might not call you back for a lead role, but that doesn't mean that you're automatically not cast. Callbacks are when the director wants to see specific people for specific parts. So they're starting to think, oh, this person would be good for this part, so let's see if this girl would work with this boy as a married couple. Basically that kind of thing. And they'll have you, if you get called back, they will give you songs that they want you to sing. It's generally very short cuts. Sometimes you're singing it with another person or 2 or 3 people, depends. And since you have kind of short notice on that, what you want to do is definitely listen to the song on YouTube and try not to stress. They are not looking for perfection. They're not looking for memorization. They're just looking for what you can do with the material, how you deliver it, your style, and as well as how you work with the other people you're being called back for. They will also probably give some scenes, which is just lines, not singing. And again, what you want to do, you want to be sure to try to make some big choices with it. So if your character is upset, for instance, instead of delivering it in a quiet voice because you're nervous, you might want to yell about it if they're upset about something serious. That kind of thing. If you need help with your callback, like trying to understand what's going on in the scene or trying to learn the song, usually all the people at callbacks, especially your stage managers, are going to be really nice and helpful. and feel free to ask them a question. Callbacks should be really fun. For me, I personally think they're the most fun part of the audition process because you get to like play a bunch of different roles, and it may be the only time you do it, but you get to play a bunch of different roles with your friends, and it's really low pressure, and it's just fun. So if you look at it as like a fun opportunity to play a bunch of different roles, then you're going to have a great time no matter what. Again, try not to get super stressed about it because it isn't like a do or die situation. And at the end of the day, you just want to be able to say that you did the best you could, not that you definitely got the lead role in the bag or whatever. That's not what it's about. A little reminder that in theater, sometimes you do the best you can and you don't get the part you want. And sometimes that's not because you aren't good enough. In fact, a lot of times it's not because you aren't good enough. It's just that the director is looking for something different. And that might be something as simple as they wanted a brown-haired actor instead of a blonde-haired actor for this role. Or it might be something as like complex as they really liked another girl's acting style over yours. And again, that doesn't mean that you're bad, and it doesn't mean that the director doesn't like you personally or doesn't think you're good. It just means that in their concept and their version of the show, that's what they are looking for. And Mr. Heyman also is clear that this is a learning experience. So for our fiddler, we are not concerned about looks or races really, even though generally in a traditional Fiddler on the Roof, they want people to look a very certain way because they are Jewish. We're not worried about whether you have dark brown curly hair or anything like that. It's going to be the people that fit the roles the best. I think that is about all. If you guys have any other questions about Fiddler on the Roof or auditions in general, please feel free to let me know. I'd be glad to help you with your audition, as well as if I feel that maybe you're someone who needs someone that isn't me, I can put you in touch with someone. Like, I don't know a lot about the male singing voice, but Adam Weaver does. I'll put you in touch with him. We want to help this process go as easy as possible for you all. So if you need anything at all, please let us know. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night. Bye.